Alright guys, check it out. A Commander Masters Collector Booster. If those of you who've seen the previous video with the Mystery Booster Box 2, Secret Lair Drop Series Little Legends, bitch! Rainbow Foil Edition. If you haven't seen the Mystery Booster 2 unboxing, then you missed out. And know that I have this, Wilds of Eldraine, and Lost Caverns of Ixalan as a collector boosters that came in with the Mystery Booster 2, plus the Secret Lair. So here we're cracking, and I'm trying to do it real carefully because I want to add the pack to my wall of packs. I have quite a few. I'll take a picture one day, but there's pictures of my kids with it too, so maybe I'll have just a wall of that. But anyways, everything in this pack is a foil, more or less. Even the token, which we'll get to later. And it's appropriate because this mat I'm using is the Secret Lair Street Fighter mat. So first we got Makeshift Munitions. It costs a red and a colorless. It's an enchantment. You have 1 mana and sacrifice an artifact or creature. Makeshift minion deals 1 damage to any target. This would be great if you have something that creates a lot of tokens or something. And then you can just tap mana to deal damage. Next, we have Deadly Recluse. It costs 1 and a green. It's a spider with reach and death touch, 1/2. My son will love that card. Following up, we have Explorer Scope. Costs 1 and it's an artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you may put it into the battlefield tapped. Equip costs 1. So if you're having a hard time with getting draws, there's one. Or a ramp. Fall from Favor, 2 and a blue, an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When Fall from Favor enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. If you and you become the monarch. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step, unless that player is the monarch. And not to be confused, I use this on another person, and they're the ones that have to tap their creature, but I am the monarch. Next we have Loyal Subordinate. Looks like my mom. For 2 and a black. Zombie creature. 3/1. Has menace. And also Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, each opponent loses 3 life. Like a bunch of cocksuckers. Next, we got Vertaloth the Ancient. 4 and 2 greens. It's a 4/7 legendary creature tree folk. Oh, my kid's gonna love this one. Kicker X. Saproling creatures and other tree folk. Creature get +1/+1. Oh yeah, he's gonna need this one. When Vertaloth the Ancient enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create X 1/1 green sprawling creature tokens. Oh my god, he's gonna love this card. Because he's been upset about how his commander deck that he built the first time is a little eh. Next I have a Swamp. Basic land. Believe it or not, it was actually super pricey. It's the second most expensive card. No, 4th most. Just a Swamp. Next, I have Shirei Shinzo's Caretaker, 4 and a black. For a 2/2 legendary creature spirit. Whenever a creature with a power of 1 or less is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of your next end step. If sure this card is still on the battlefield. Nice. It wasn't very expensive though. Next, Path of Ancestry. Path of Ancestry enters the battlefield tapped. Tap, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Great for almost any deck. Next, Faithless Looting. 1 red sorcery. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Flashback for 2 and a red. So take 2 cards and get rid of 2 cards. Stone Hoof Chieftain for 7 and a green for 8/8. Creature Centaur Warrior. Trample and indestructible. When another creature you control attacks, it gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. Actually, I think my son has that. Grand Abolisher. 2 whites. A creature human cleric for 2/2. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifact creatures or enchantments. Wow, that's fucking sick. Alright. Ugin's Mastery. I think that's how you say it. For 4 colorless, an enchantment. Whenever you cast a colorless creature spell, manifest the top of your library. Whenever you attack with creatures total power 6 or greater, you may turn a face-down creature you control face up. Oh, it's like Manifest Dread, sort of, before Manifest Dread. Alright. Grave Pact. 1 and 3 blacks. There's a casting couch joke in there somewhere. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. So suck it. It's an enchantment, so that's good. Next we have Undergrowth Stadium. Undergrowth Stadium enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. You tap for a black or a green. Now we have the Human Soldier token or the Dwarf Berserker token. Foiled. Couldn't see how much this was worth. So I'll flash up on the screen right now how much the Commander Master booster, collector booster, cost and how much it's worth and if we saved any money. Now we're going to do the Secret Lair drop. Now this was freaking difficult, as this card that comes up right now, Generous Patron, was very hard to find because it wasn't part of the Little Legends. It was in some other part. So this is 2 and a green for 1/4, an Elf Advisor. When Generous Patron enters the battlefield, support 2. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a creature you don't control, draw a card. Oh, okay, I get it. This would be good for like a goading deck. You goad them and you give them things and it's super handy. Alright, so here we go with my first secret lair drop ever. Rhea Dawnbringer for 6 and 3 whites. Angel, flying, 4/6. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow. That's sick-diculous. Next. Ovar the Allform. 3 in a blue. For 3/3 legendary creature shapeshifter, changeling. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets 1 or more other permanents you control, create a token that copies one of those permanents. When a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, create a token that copies a copy of target permanent. Next, Drana, the Last Blood Chief. Actually, I put this into my Unfinity deck. So, yep, saved some money there. 3 and 2 blacks for a 4/4 legendary vampire cleric, flying. When this card attacks, defending player chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard. You return that card to the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. The creature is a vampire in addition to other types. So yeah, if you got a vampire deck, that is a must-have. Lavinia Azores Renegade. White-blue. For 2/2 legendary creature, Human Soldier. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with mana value greater than the number of lands that player controls. Which makes sense. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, controller counter that spell. Ha! Ha! That's the bluiest blue card I've ever blued. Omnath, Locus of Creation. This is for all one of every color except black. Legendary creature elemental 4/4. When this creature enters, draw a card. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters the you gain 4 life. If this is the first time this ability has resolved this turn. If it's the second time, add one of the same amount of colors as this card. If it's the third time, this card deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planewalker you don't control. This is a deadly, amazing card. For my son's... Actually, no, I'm going to put that in my Optimus Prime More Than Meets the Eye deck. Oh, my dog. All right. So I'm flashing up the prices. I did a total already. So for the collector booster, it was $41.46. For the secret lair drop, it was $50.25 for a total of $91.71. Isn't that bullshit? I mean, I thought for sure that the Commander Master Collector Booster would have been worth more. But anyways, I suggest you guys listen to my podcast. Watch it to the very end. Maybe comment something. Just saying. Because, you know, once in a while, we have to all think that Megan sucks.